always about the high and mighty. There's a very strange story out there. President Buhari's daughter orders the arrest of an innocent man. Sometimes one will want to ask, do we have even any law in this country? And if we have, how come it is not being obeyed? I mean, why do we even have a constitution when nobody seems to adhere to it? Those who are supposed to uphold the rule of law are the ones flaunting the law. In fact, they are the dogs that are used. There is absolutely no regard for the rule of law. It seems like those in authority have forgotten that they were put there in power. Maybe they elected themselves or selected themselves because of the masses. Suppose, but that's not the case. We can't even boast of a free and fair election in the first place. So I am not surprised. Why on earth will a 22-year-old girl, lady, have a man arrested for a SIM card or even anyone at all that he did not steal directly from her? It wasn't as if her smartphone got missing and somehow a SIM got to somebody else. But this is a SIM card that the young man purchased with his money from a telecommunication company. As you know, when your SIM card is not used for a particular period of time, most of the time the telecommunication companies will kind of recycle that SIM, which is not supposed to be because it is kind of dangerous. I think they should have changed the number, just shut down the number and probably make use of the serial number and rather than the mobile number itself. But that is another security concern. So this brought about the arrest of a man as the man bought the SIM card, and this SIM card belonged to the daughter of Major General Buhari, retired. The story of this man, identified as Anthony Chude Okole, has surfaced online after a tweet by Omoyele Shore, and also he posted that on his Facebook. Recently released convener of Revolution Now, who was detained illegally by the SSS in Abuja. Antonio Kole was arrested by the DSS or SSS as they call themselves in the command in Delta State for using an MTM SIM card previously used by Buhari's daughter, Anan Buhari. According to report from sources, Buhari's daughter once used the line 2 years ago, and then she abandoned it when she traveled to the United Kingdom on taxpayers' money. And she stayed over there in the United Kingdom, and somehow the SIM card got recycled. Now, some might ask, was the SIM card not registered? As you know, you have to register with your face, your data, your fingerprints, and all of that. If that is registered to that number, then it should not be sold out. But then there are certain terms and conditions that people don't care to read when they buy SIM cards, which is a very important thing. So, upon arrival back to Nigeria on holidays, she discovered that the redundant line had been recycled to another customer, which is known to be the normal policy of telecommunication companies. Now, rather than she going back to the office and query them about it, and they probably will show her the terms and condition, she needed to muscle on the innocent Nigerian by calling on the SSS, and they tracked it, and eventually they found a way of arresting this man. Okoli was arrested and ordered by Buhari's daughter, by Buhari's daughter for using that line. On the day of his arrest, the DSS, in a Gestapo style, as they often do, they've been frequently contacting him on this line. They later arrested Okole on that same day. He was only interrogated once by the officers of the SSS headquarters. No case was filed in court. He was released after spending 10 weeks in detention and then told he had been forgiven. Where is the law? This man, if it was a country that the rule of law is being obeyed, he would probably be able to sue the SSS and Buhari's daughter for what he has gone through for 10 weeks in detention. Human rights lawyer speaking on behalf of Revolutionary Lawyers Forum, RLF, Mr. Tokwe Akinyode, while reacting to the news earlier today, described it as a shameful display of lawlessness and a constant aberration of known laws in Nigeria. To be arrested using proxy is forbidden under the Nigerian law. Moreover, the whole scene grossly violates the fundamental human rights of the victim on the grounds of unlawful arrest and detention. They said that they are going to file a lawsuit against the State Security Service and ANN0C to enforce the fundamental rights of the victim and to make a statement that would allow lawlessness not to slide into this country at any rate. That is what the RLF, Revolutionary Lawyers Forum, human rights lawyer, said. But I don't know how far they'll be able to go, as this government is known to be authoritarian. I don't think the case will see the light of the day. Maybe they will get a judge, or they might decide to just pity him and share a little bit of the money that they have in their pocket. Probably might decide to give him 100,000 naira, 50,000, or whatever, 500, depending on the court, and that's just it. So if the SIM card was exclusively hers, why didn't she take it up with the telecommunications company? Those are the questions that begs for an answer. That is because she believes that they cannot take up the telecommunication company, as they are a very big company, MTN. She cannot take up MTN. It's going to be very difficult. Her father is not going to be able to, help her. SSS, DSS, whatever it is, please, they cannot walk MTN out of the country or arrest anyone there, because there are policies, there are rules and regulations, there are terms and conditions that people barely want to read. And like I said, it is not fair that your SIM card that is registered to you, fingerprint, your data, your profile is being given out to somebody. That's why certain kinds of criminal activities occur. Because when you receive a call and you realize that the person that owns that SIM card is, someone that you can actually, when it gets to the hand of people that are scammers, it's going to be a very terrible one. Particularly if you know the informations and datas and all of that is still there, although it's supposed to be recycled. But then what about the bank, if she's using a SIM card to connect with her bank and all of that? So just imagine all of this. So if this SIM card was so important, why didn't she get someone to ensure that it stays active? Because it's no news that when a SIM card is idle for a specific period of time, the telecommunication company will block it and reallocate it to another user. So she should have either given it to her mom or load some airtime on it. I think some companies, if you have airtime on it, they will allow the SIM, load some airtime on it, and rather than just keeping it off, something like that. So there are some people claiming that good luck Ebele Jonathan said when he leaves the office, you are going to understand what freedom means totally. That doesn't mean that they will not have done that too. Good luck Jonathan's wife or any of the children, most of them in power, even local government chairman's children, they have a form of a kind of authoritarian dictatorship package, and they suppose they think they are so much higher there, and they can do just anything to anyone. You need to see how military personnel treat people even on the street. So she is wrong for carrying out such act. It's a telecommunication company that she's supposed to focus on, and if the terms and condition that she barely wants to read or care less about reading states that it will be reallocated, recycled, then she should just find a way to have it blocked. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So a lot of Nigerians are not happy with this. Some claim that she's actually emulating the attitude of a tyrant, just like the father. They say children emulate their parents' behavior. Please, before you judge any children of any act, verify is our parents' behavior. And they are making mentions of Naira Marley. If you see his child beginning to act in a certain way, know that apple does not fall far from the tree. But it's a terrible thing anyway. Although most of this, like I said, oftentimes happen when people claim that their parents are rich. They claim that they are connected in the society. They believe that they are elites. They believe that they are well positioned in a certain place, or their parents are probably a military officer or official. They oftentimes they act in this manner. They will, abuse that authority, that power that they have, and they use it to oppress other people. It's always like that. Oppression, like I oftentimes say, lies at the doorstep of every typical Nigerian. They always want to take an advantage of the other person. They will always want to oppress the other person. They just want you to know, You hear things like pepper them, and stuff. Like, do you have to pepper anybody? Well, maybe they think they have enemies that are out there that they need to show them that they are much better in life and all of that. So, guys, this is just an eye opener, something for us to actually look into as people, to reflect on this. She has done what she has done. They claim that she forgave the guy, but then who do we blame? We want to blame the SSS that are supposed to at least uphold the rule of law to a certain point, rather than being used as just dogs. You need to see how most of those police officials and the rest of these groups of people, how they go on with life. A police officer will hold the umbrella on the head of an expatriate, a Chinese expatriate. That is something that you will never ever see happen in China. You can never see an expatriate, be it American, and you see a Chinese police hold umbrella on the head of a Chinese construction worker. You will never see them carrying the bags. But this is just what this is all about in Nigeria. It's a shameful thing. I don't know when these people will actually get it right. Probably they feel that they'll be giving some free money. A lot of things are just wrong, and these things have to be put back in place in Nigeria. It has to be put back in place in Nigeria. Many of the value system are just not in the right place. So guys, that's just what it is for now. What's your own take about this and with many other issues that we are experiencing in Nigeria? Drop it at the comment section. Do you think the lady acted right, or you think she has a right to act the way she did? What's your own opinion about this? Drop it at the comment section below. And while you're at that, if you're not a member of this channel, let us grow together by you simply tapping on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell below. It will alert you whenever videos are uploaded. Thanks for stopping by.